For the last 6 months, we have been working to build a fairway around our putting green, and while it's coming along well, we are only just getting started. Nearly 3 years ago, we started this project by simply digging a hole in the ground and placing a cup and flagstick. Little did we know then that this project would blow up into something much bigger, where we built a full synthetic putting green and a practice bunker. We grew some really nice fescue around the green last year, and it looked nice in the spring, and we mowed stripes with our zero-turn mower. However, it wasn't a true fairway, and it all dried up and died in the hot summer. As we got closer to fall, we brought back out the zero-turn mower and mowed at the lowest setting, and then we used the push mower to get it cut as low as possible. Our goal here is to build this area into a true fairway by next year, and to purchase a real mower where we can cut it very low for practicing chip shots and short wedges. But next up, we had to revamp our bunker as it had been neglected all summer. So we cut it down as low as we could, and then cleaned it up with our blower, and then went to the local feed and seed store to buy a few truckloads of topsoil. The plan was to cover the bunker in topsoil so that we could start over with new grass seed, but I also wanted to raise the front lip of the bunker by about 6 inches, so I went heavy with the soil there, used the landscape rake to get it smooth and level, and then used the yard roller to get it all finished. Once done with the bunker, we took what remained of the second load of topsoil and spread it around the entire edges of the green. We want the fairway to flow perfectly into the green and possibly even mow a true fringe one day, but we had to get the soil and grass perfect around the edges to do so. And we used the landscape rake again to smooth out the soil and get it perfectly even with the surface level of the putting green. When we were all finished with the green, it was time to refill the bunker with sand and get it back into playing conditions. At this point, the green and bunker were looking good, and we decided to go ahead and seed the bunker, as it would be easy for us to keep it watered with the garden hose while we waited for cooler weather and rain to start coming. A few weeks later, as fall was approaching, we got a load of both topsoil and sand as we were ready to start building out the fairway. Our plan was to mix the sand and soil together and spread it all over the fairway so that we could smooth it out and create optimal growing conditions for the grass seed. At this time, I used the landscape rake for smoothing and leveling around the green, but also used the tractor and box blade to move around a lot of soil at a time. We ended up going through 3 full loads of this combo before we had the fairway build ready for the next phase. After a lot of really hard work, we had it exactly where we wanted it, and we let it sit a few more weeks and get a little rain on it so that we could then bring out the aerifier and start punching holes in the ground. I bought this AgroFab plug aerifier specifically for this job, and it turned out to work very well. We did about 3 or 4 laps all over the fairway with the aerifier, and then it was time to bring out the seed and get it sowed in. This year we chose to go with ryegrass because we were already into November as we couldn't get to work with the drought. But our goal is always going to have it perfect for Masters Week, and so long as Augusta has rye fairways, so will we. As of today, we are near the end of the ryegrass with the heat moving in, but we will start the process of sowing Bermuda soon so that the fairway is great in the summer months as well. After seeding, we went over it several times with both the landscape rake and a garden rake to get the seed mixed in the soil well. And then we hooked up the yard roller to the 0 turn and went around the area to smooth it out and compact it. After the seed was in, we got about 4 bales of wheat straw and spread it very lightly over the entire area to try and keep as much moisture in the ground as possible and prevent seed washout if at all possible. But sure enough, it turned out that we had flood-like rains over the winter, which did wash away quite a bit of the sprouts, so we knew we would need to do a heavy overseed as spring arrived. At this point, the work was done and we could start to enjoy the vision of a real-life fairway next spring. But between the late seeding, icy cold weather we had shortly after sowing, and the flooding rains, the rye came in very spotty and we had to wait until closer to springtime to get back to work on it. But as spring got closer, it was starting to look a little better, but more importantly, we were able to start using the green again thanks to nicer weather, and we really started to wear out the practice bunker every day. As soon as the month of March arrived, we were right back to work as we had 6 weeks to prepare for Masters Week. We started off with the first mowing, and then we aerified the area again, this time using the Gator as the 0 turn was in the shop, and this proved to be challenging due to the wide turns. After aerifying, we bought in several loads of pure sand and spread the sand everywhere to start smoothing out and leveling the fairway. We used shovels to spread the sand and also used the landscape rake and garden rake to spread it, but eventually we bought a lawn leveler to evenly spread the sand, which worked out great. While the sanding was extremely hard work, we could immediately tell that it made a big difference as the ground was much more level with no uneven spots, and I could tell that it would be ready to start mowing lower, so at this point I started shopping for a used reel mower. After a few good rains to let the sand settle in, we came back out and did a heavy round of overseed, which we were hoping would take quickly as we were only about 4 weeks out until Masters Week. We watered it heavily every day for the first week, preparing to mow it lower, and while at this point we had found a new reel mower, it had not been adjusted properly yet for optimal cutting. However, thanks to the rolling bar, the first cut made the fairway look amazing. While studying all the ins and outs of using a reel mower, we mowed it a few days in a row with a zero turn, bringing the height down a little bit each day. At this point, Masters Week was officially upon us and it was time to get everything peeking out. The rye around the bunker was as lush and green as ever seen, and it was time to clean it up and having it look perfect for Masters Weekend. All in all, I have to say we did a pretty decent job restoring the bunker from last summer. And on to the moment we have been waiting a long time for. We had the reel mower working to its fullest, and we started mowing at fairway length every day of Masters Week. This was the first time I've ever used a reel mower, and I have to say it is a ton of fun and really addicting when you start painting those stripes. We still have a ton of work ahead of us to keep improving this to true golf course quality and are about to start transitioning over to Bermuda, but for the last few weeks we have been out enjoying the fairway and green every evening, having competition after competition. If you want to follow the progress of the fairway as well as all our other projects on the Golf Homestead, be sure to subscribe and follow along. And if you want to help us grow this channel, you can hit that thumbs up button for us, and most importantly, share your favorite videos with family and friends. Thanks everyone for watching, and we will see you soon.